Kenneth, I've learned that Frost published In the Clearing in 1962 in a limited edition of 1,500 copies. Later, it was included in his collected works, which I keep by my bedside table. And but am I right that none of the poems in your choral cycle actually came from that book? What attracted you to the title?
Well, you're absolutely right about that. And when David Hodgkins and I started talking about creating this cycle for Coro Allegro, I had written only one, said only one poem, "Nothing Gold Can Stay," which is the final number in the cycle. And I first heard the poem read, not sung or performed, when I was an undergraduate at the University of Miami. And one of the gals, young women who was a classmate of mine, read "Nothing Gold Can Stay" as the kind of conclusion of the evening. And when I heard it, I was so taken by it. I said, I have to set that to music. And I did immediately. And that was my single Robert Frost, short Robert Frost choral composition. Um, for really almost 20 years until David and I met and we started talking about creating a cycle for Coro Allegro. And we'll talk about why I was so attracted to the group, but that was the cornerstone piece of the cycle. And I think I composed first, we had Nothing Gold Can Stay, and I think I composed three more. And I think David first premiered four choruses, and then we added more. And David, you can add to this. But thinking about the vision of Coro Allegro, I was very very touched to be writing. I mean, I've always been out and proud being a gay man, but I don't think I had really. I think it was the first work, to be honest, that I'd ever written for an LGBTQ plus ensemble, which was really a new thing back then in 1993 when David created the group and started it. So, but I kept thinking, what are we going to call this? I was thinking through, the lines and the poetry of each of the poems. And once I discovered Robert Frost when I was an undergraduate at the University of Miami, I started reading all of his poems and reading his books of poems. And I thought somehow, even though the cycle doesn't include one of the poems from the book In the Clearing, I somehow thought that is the perfect title for this group, what David is trying to create and do with it socially and musically and maybe even politically. And so that's how the title of the cycle came about.
For me, that title actually, that open space, I feel like people were emerging into an open space from someplace that was actually shrouded, or contained somehow. And when Ken talked about having this be, it's the life of a seasonal cycle, but also the life of coming out as a gay person. And so for me, that emerging into an open space is something that has always resonated with me about what the piece means. That In the Clearing is not something that is sort of empty, but it's actually uh, spotlit. It's a proud moment to come into that space.